right, y'all. Life after lockup. So it's episode 1 for us, 41 for them, and it's welcome home. So let's get into it. Let's see what they got going on. So they start off with Daniel and Bianca, and Bianca, she got her man. They going back to the apartment. They get there. He loved it, because it's an upgrade from jail. You know what I mean? So, but it was a nice place, so he liked it. And she was like, "You really like it?" He was like, "Yeah, I like it here." Then they start making out and stuff like that. Then they did the flashback of when Bianca friend found they was like going through like the photo book and found the like drawing that he made of his member, and so Bianca was expecting, to have a really good time with the drawing that he sent. So, yeah, they start making out and they close the door, kick the cameras out, they're trying to get well acquainted. But as soon as they did walk in, he did go straight to the like kitchen and see what that was about. And she had like a bottle opener magnet on the fridge, and he like immediately picked it up like, "What's this?" And she was just like, I don't even know what she said, but I'm like, "What is that, girl? Like, why would you have that in the house and he's an addict?" But I don't think she really gets it yet. Like, I don't think she don't get it. But that was all with them. They got to the apartment and they got down. Then they went over to Troy and Zaria, and they arguing already. They arguing. It's a month since he's been out of jail, and they arguing about him. I guess he like rearranging stuff. But then Troy does get on there and tell us that he feels like it's enough space with them, or it would be enough space with just the three of them living there. But the fact that her sister living there, he feel like it ain't enough space. So I'm like, well, I mean, it is like a 3-bedroom. All y'all got your own room. So does he want his own room? I don't know, but yeah. So then Zaria, she came out to like talk to her sister and stuff like that. And she was telling her sister, well, her sister was basically saying how she hear them arguing a lot and how she kind of like worried about them, but she don't know if their relationship gonna last. But it ain't like they like boyfriend and girlfriend, like they married. So I'm like, I mean, we just watching it. I hope it lasts. I always hope that they last. I love love. You know what I mean? Like, if you can make it work in a healthy situation, then cool. But some of them, like, if it ain't healthy, then y'all need to part ways. But Troy and them, they did go to his first day of work, so he was super excited. Like, they were super excited. Zaria let him meet the other members. It was only 2 other members, which I felt like they was kind of judging him in a sense. But I'm like, ain't y'all there to like work on prisoners? So how y'all trying to judge him? But then they was like, they don't know his work ethic. But he was like, running a business is like running, the streets. You know what I mean? It's just in a legal sense, And I'm like, well, I mean, that's kind of true. I can see that. You know what I mean? But he excited. He got a little corner office. But then Zaria said that she sees how excited he is, but there's something about the business that she has not told him yet. So I'm like, girl, what is it? Tell us. I guess we gotta wait to find out. So they just gave us Teeny and Rob, and I'm like, okay, I was waiting to see them. So I'm like excited to see him out, living his life, all the things. So they're moving into a new house. I'm like, okay, I'm excited for them. Okay. And they taking the stuff out the car. The son, he's the cameraman. The daughter, she helping. And Rob immediately goes in there and start putting up the cameras. And I'm like, not these cameras. And they like, yeah, the cameras are still here, but now they're used as more of security purposes versus like, I guess, communication purposes. But I'm like, he's still gonna be in there watching them. I cannot. But then they did do flashbacks. They had their first time in Miami because it's only been 6 weeks since he been out of jail or whatever. They went to Miami. They had a ball. It was their first time getting in the water, doing jet skis. Like, they had a good time. And then I guess the same day that they're moving is the same day that Teeny's throwing Rob this like welcome home party or whatever. So they were saying how she worked so hard on it, stuff like that. And on the way going to the party, Teeny was telling us how the first time when he got out, because we didn't get to see all of that. When he got out the first time, they was taking a shower together, and she noticed his ex-girlfriend on his arm. Because remember, he was telling us that she didn't know about it, so that's how she found out about it. And she was like, she be being petty, bringing it up in arguments, which I'm like, girl, you shouldn't do that. Like, now that you know, try to do better. You know better, you do better, hopefully. But anyway, she was saying how, you know, she been in love before too, so she understands, you know what I mean? He really loved that girl, and, you know, but it still irks her, you know, and I'm like, it's understandable, you know what I mean? But being petty after a certain amount of times is gonna be like, bro, that's old. Like, you either gonna accept it or not. But they went to the party, and his cousins and them, and his sister ain't show up. His sister said something happened with her eye, and then his cousin, I guess, was sick, and then he was just like, this is normal. Like, nobody's showing up for him in jail or visits but him, but Teeny and the kids, you know. So, and the kids was like, he fit right in, you know. Teeny said that he adjusted well when he got out. Like, she doesn't know how people are supposed to adjust, but he did good. And then she was talking about his mama, you know, because he was like, is my mom gonna come? He was like, she got the invitation. And his mama came. His mom was walking through the door, and then they went to commercial. But Teeny did tell us that their relationship is still rocky. So they come back with Michael and Christine, and they had the baby, and they moved to Vegas, and they bought a house, and they got all their kids. Well, not all of them, but you know, the kids that wanted to go mix, you know, they there. So they live in life. Why do they go to the OBGYN and they do the ultrasound and she pregnant again? And why is it a little boy? And the baby that they got right now is a little girl. So I'm like, what? And then it took a turn. Like the nurse or doctor came in there and started talking to her like they did not recommend her to get pregnant again. Really, they recommend her to get her tubes tied. This is a high risk pregnancy. She can die. Does she have a will in order? I'm like, I'm scared for her. She said she was scared. And then they was like, they don't want no more kids. And then she was telling Michael that he should get a vasectomy, but he was like, he still want his stuff to work right. And I'm like, don't it still work right? Like, that's just like a cop out. But he's like, her tube is gonna work perfectly if she get whatever, her tube side or whatever. But then the doctor was telling her that they might have to do like a hysterectomy. Like, so much stuff could happen. She can lose her whole uterus. So prayers for Justine, for real, because I really hope she has a safe and healthy pregnancy. Seriously, because that's scary. I was scared. I was like, oh my gosh, we was all just happy, and then it just like took a turn. Then they give us Brittany and Key Rock, and I'm like so excited that they back. I'm like, hey, I like that season, the last season that they was on here. So I'm like, I'm excited to see more. They move into Houston, Texas. I'm like, okay. They excited. They got me excited. I'm like, we excited. Let's come through. So they packing up the house. They packing up the truck. Key Rock not only is taking Brittany to Texas, but he's taking mama, brothers. Do you got a sister? His family coming too. So they excited. You know what I mean? He taking a car to go get an oil change before they like gotta drive. And then the PO calls and tells him that he was working with the PO, basically that he was working with trying to get to Texas, and that it's up to the state of Texas to accept or deny the parolee to come there, I guess, to even visit. And they denied. So he can't go visit or move to Texas. And he was like, what the, you know? And then, you know, it went to commercial, and I'm like, we was excited. Damn. I don't know how that's gonna go. And Brittany was just saying, this is why I love you, you know. It's a good beauty industry down there. She gonna do nails, like, you know, they got their whole plan, you know. Dang.